The system initiates with a delivery, an unmarked envelope placed on your desk, signaling the beginning of a high-pressure assignment under unseen authority. The envelope arrives without sound, a procedural step that immediately places you under the weight of the contract's silent order. The time on the envelope, 2100 hours, is the first rule, setting a deadline that increases pressure with each passing second. The seal remains intact, a symbol of the unopened order that holds the consequence of failure within its procedural folds. A single ring from the phone reminds you of the unseen handler, monitoring every move as pressure builds to open the contract. Time stretches as you wait, the envelope a constant presence that amplifies pressure with its unread contents and impending action. On the back, a location is noted, adding another layer to the assignment's procedural requirements under system authority. The contract system is omnipresent, with files that document every order, ensuring compliance through institutional pressure and control. Even the lighting seems controlled, a subtle reminder that you are always under surveillance within this high-stakes system. With the deadline nearing, pressure mounts as you must decide when to open the envelope and begin the assignment. Unseen forces test your resolve with knocks and signals, reinforcing the authority and consequence of the contract order. Every detail of the envelope tells a story of procedure, from its delivery to the pressure it imposes on you. The assignment requires action, but first, the waiting and surveillance of your own movements under the contract's strict rules. Documentation begins immediately, logging details to ensure accuracy under the system's strict reporting requirements and pressure. Recording the contract specifics is a mandatory step, building pressure as you acknowledge the assignment's procedural weight. 10 minutes to the deadline, and the envelope remains sealed, a source of growing pressure in the silent office. The system communicates through minimal signals. This message authorizing you to open the envelope and face the contract inside. Authority manifests in digital form, a clear order that escalates pressure as you prepare for the next procedural step. Opening the contract reveals gaps in information, requiring you to fill them with action under increasing procedural tension. The contract inside is incomplete, with redactions that hide the full purpose, adding to the pressure of the assignment. The contract's redactions are strategic, forcing you to infer missing details under the assignment's strict rules and procedural pressure. Every blacked out word represents a gap in information, adding to the pressure of fulfilling the contract accurately within the system. Documenting the contract specifics is the first reporting step, required by the system for accountability and order verification. The time specified in the contract is approaching, signaling the need to transition to the next phase of the assignment. Recording the location ensures adherence to the contract's procedural requirements under surveillance from unseen authorities. The system demands confirmation, a routine check that reinforces the order and consequence of non-compliance in the contract. Sending the confirmation is a mandatory report, logging your acknowledgement of the contract and its terms under pressure. Digital reports are instantly logged, creating a trail that the system monitors for accuracy and timeliness in assignments. With the contract reviewed and documented, the delivery stage concludes, leading to the contents phase of the assignment. Securing the contract in the filing cabinet is part of the procedural chain, ensuring it's stored for future reference and control. Now, the contents of the contract must be analyzed, with redactions and rules that define the assignment and its reporting demands. The contract includes a list of rules that you must follow, each adding layers to the assignment's complexity and procedural pressure. Rules such as continuous surveillance and hourly reporting are standard, but with gaps in the contract, they become more critical. Highlighting key rules helps in memorizing and executing them under the pressure of the system's expectations and consequences. The assignment log is where you record all actions, a digital report that must be updated in real time for system monitoring. Every entry in the log is monitored, and any discrepancy can lead to consequences from the authority overseeing the contract. A call from the handler provides additional instructions, but the purpose remains unclear, increasing procedural tension and pressure. Logging the call details is essential, as all communications are part of the report and subject to review under the system. The notes accumulate, filling the gaps in the contract with inferred actions under the weight of the order and its rules. With the initial analysis complete, you move to the follow-through phase, ready to execute the assignment as per the contract. You must reach the surveillance location by 2200 as per the contract, increasing procedural pressure and the weight of the order. Verifying the log is part of the rules, ensuring the contract remains secure under the system's control and authority. The car becomes your mobile office, where you will execute the assignment under strict time constraints and surveillance rules. The GPS shows the exact location, a detail from the contract that must be followed precisely to avoid consequences. Every minute counts, with the system monitoring your progress and the contract's timeline adding relentless pressure. Surveillance starts now, as you must maintain awareness of your surroundings while adhering to the assignment's procedural demands. Setting up surveillance equipment is the first step in following the contract's rules, under the pressure of unseen authority. The camera captures details that must be logged, part of the report that will document every action in the assignment. Logging the arrival is mandatory, with the system expecting real-time updates to monitor compliance with the contract's rules. Surveillance requires focused observation, with the contract's gaps filled by your actions under increasing procedural tension. Time is a critical element, with 10 minutes left before the 2200 deadline, heightening the pressure of the order. The handler confirms the location, adding another layer of authority and control, with consequences for any deviation. Every communication must be documented, as the system reviews all reports to ensure the assignment follows the contract's rules. The log accumulates data, filling the contract's redactions with recorded actions under the weight of institutional monitoring. Observation is key to the assignment, with each detail logged to build a report on procedural pressure and rules. The hourly report is due, a rule that must be followed exactly to avoid consequences from the authority overseeing the contract. Submitting the report acknowledges the system's control, with each entry adding to the pressure of maintaining the assignment's timeline. The contract's gaps are slowly filled by your actions, under the constant pressure of the order and its institutional consequences. The confirmation adds to the tension, as the system acknowledges your compliance, but leaves the purpose unclear, increasing pressure. With the deadline met, the surveillance continues, under the unrelenting pressure of the contract and its rules for the next phase. The contract specifies surveillance protocols, with each rule adding to the pressure of the unseen authority's order. Logging every detail is mandatory, with the system monitoring compliance to enforce the assignment's consequences. The redactions hide the purpose, but your actions fill the gaps. Under the increasing weight of procedural tension, the handler's call reinforces the authority chain, with clear instructions that must be followed to avoid deviation. Documenting communication is crucial, as it builds the report under the contract's rules and systemic pressure. The log accumulates evidence of your actions, filling the contract's voids with recorded data under institutional scrutiny. Time pressure mounts with each passing minute, as the contract's timeline dictates the pace of the assignment. Submitting the report acknowledges the system's control, adding to the tension with no release from the order. The physical wear on the contract symbolizes the ongoing pressure of filling its gaps with action under authority. The assignment slip details the next steps, with the contract's rules ensuring compliance under the threat of consequence. The execution phase intensifies, with the contract's gaps now filled by systematic action under relentless pressure. Following the handler's order, you shift surveillance focus, with the contract's redactions still looming over the assignment. An anomaly is recorded, adding complexity to the report under the pressure of maintaining the assignment's accuracy. The lens captures every move, symbolizing the constant observation and pressure from the system overseeing the contract. Reporting the anomaly is required, with the system expecting real-time updates to monitor the assignment's progress. The acknowledgement adds to the tension, as the authority confirms receipt, but leaves the next move unclear. The assignment slip evolves with updates, reflecting the dynamic nature of the contract under procedural pressure. Relocating is part of the assignment, the contract's rules dictating movement under the handler's authority. Setting up at the new location requires precision, with the pressure of the order ensuring no mistakes in the process. Logging the move is mandatory, with the system tracking every action to fill the contract's gaps under increasing tension. An observation is recorded, adding to the report under the mounting pressure of the contract's requirements and unseen authority. The notepad accumulates details, symbolizing the burden of filling gaps in the contract with precise action and documentation. Waiting for the handler's reply intensifies the tension as the system demands constant readiness for the next order. The new order specifies the next step, with the pressure of the timeline forcing immediate compliance and reporting. The car's interior reflects the solitary nature of the assignment, with the contract as a constant reminder of procedural weight. Relocating requires cautious movement, with the pressure of the order ensuring no deviations from the contract's rules. Setting up at the final point demands precision, with the consequence of error looming under the system's watch. The lens captures the scene, with the weather adding to the pressure of maintaining surveillance accuracy and timeliness. Reporting the setup is mandatory, with the physical tremor highlighting the increasing tension of the assignment under authority. The acknowledgement reinforces the order, with the pressure building as the system demands strict adherence without clarification. Waiting stretches the timeline, with the pressure of the contract's gaps intensifying as time passes without resolution. The assignment slip shows where, symbolizing the ongoing strain of executing the order under constant procedural pressure. Reviewing the contract's gaps adds to the frustration, with the pressure of fulfilling unknown details weighing heavily. An anomaly requires immediate action, with the pressure of the system expecting real-time documentation and response. Reporting the detection is critical, with the tension peaking as the authority monitors every move for compliance. The tablet interface reflects the waiting game, with the pressure of the system's response determining the next step. The order to wait increases the pressure, with the consequence of deviation clear under the handler's strict authority. Continuing surveillance under adverse conditions adds to the pressure, with the contract's requirements uncompromising. Documenting every element is essential, with the pressure of the assignment ensuring no oversight in the final stages. The setup remains prepared, with the pressure of the contract's completion looming as the system awaits the final report. The aftermath stage arrives, where the contract's completion imposes the full institutional weight of consequences and order. Drafting the final report requires precision, under the pressure of filling the contract's redacted gaps accurately. Each detail in the report underscores the assignment's rigor, with the system demanding flawless documentation for closure. The report draft reveals the procedural traces, symbolizing the hidden layers of authority within the contract's framework. Submitting the report triggers the system's acknowledgement process, with the tension of pending verification mounting. The wait for system feedback stretches moments into an eternity, under the unyielding pressure of institutional timelines. The interface's status update highlights the slow, methodical pace of the system's control over the assignment's end. The acknowledgement confirms completion, but the scheduled debrief introduces a new layer of procedural consequence and order. Sealing the folder marks the physical closure of the assignment, yet the institutional weight remains palpable in the room. The sealed folder stands as a testament to the assignment's execution, a silent object under the system's watch. The debrief order extends the contract's influence, with the consequence of preparedness imposed by unseen authority. Packing up signals the end of active duty, but the routine echoes the cyclical nature of contract assignments. The key handoff record verifies the assignment's procedural steps, a small detail in the vast system of control. Leaving the site feels like a release, yet the institutional environment reminds you of the ongoing pressure and order. Driving away offers temporary solitude, but the contract's consequences linger in the silence, awaiting the next order. The empty envelope symbolizes the fulfilled contract, yet its presence hints at the residual institutional weight and consequence. Arriving at safety brings no relief, as the system's debrief looms with the weight of unresolved procedural details. The watch marks the countdown to the next procedural step, with the consequence of the assignment still pending under authority. The contract note is securely archived, a cold reminder of the assignment's execution within the system's rigid framework. The aftermath leaves you with the institutional consequence, a silent burden carried from the contract's start to its close.